Brian Cox says that you won't believe what NASA just found on Pluto. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft performed its flyby, our entire understanding of Pluto was completely changed. We came one step closer to understanding where life can thrive in the universe. The New Horizons probe made so many discoveries during its short flyby, discoveries from which we are still learning to this day. So join us as we dive deep into the depths of Pluto's ocean and uncover the secrets within, where icy landscapes, towering mountains, and mysterious activity await. Pluto's ocean may have life. One of these completely unforeseen discoveries was the potential of a subsurface ocean, an ocean that exists underneath the immense layer of ice on the surface of Pluto. And now scientists are saying that this ocean could even have life in it, including renowned physicist Brian Cox. But how is that possible? Pluto's heart holds the answer to it. Pluto is like a completely alien world, a frozen wasteland covered in icy floes and gigantic water ice mountains. But all of this just adds to the mountain of evidence that there is an underground ocean on Pluto, just like Jupiter's moon Europa. The scientists behind the mission are amazed by what they've seen. They never expected to find such thick layers of young ice, even at super-freezing temperatures. It's wild to think that this ice is thick enough to shape the landscape. The researchers were excited by the notion that Pluto could just be a rocky core surrounded by a frosty shell. And that's not all. William Kinnan, a member of the team, believes that this icy structure increases the chances of an underground ocean lurking beneath the icy surface. They've also found water ice on Pluto's mountains for the very first time. Alan Stern, the head of the New Horizons mission, is confident that there's a whole lot of water there, just waiting to be explored. But even back in 2015, there still wasn't enough evidence to confirm that Pluto does indeed have an ocean underneath. These discoveries are only clues to the puzzle. But it's been a while since then, and scientists have been hard at work uncovering the secrets of this million-dollar question. Why is everyone so obsessed with Pluto having an ocean? It's because the existence of an ocean has some pretty massive implications for Pluto, one of them being the existence of life. But even then, how can an icy cold ocean have any chance of hosting life? Brian Cox thinks Pluto could host life. He believes that this ocean is warm enough to support life. It's mind-blowing to think that this tiny dwarf planet might actually be teeming with living organisms and organic chemistry. Cox is pretty confident about this idea, stating that if our understanding of life on Earth is even remotely accurate, then there's a good chance that Pluto has its own inhabitants. However, the New Horizons spacecraft might not be able to confirm the existence of warm water beneath Pluto's surface. Cox admits that it's a bit challenging to gather concrete evidence about this mysterious ocean. He suggests that we should instead focus our efforts on exploring the moons of other planets closer to home. Europa, a moon of Jupiter, and some of Saturn's moons like Titan and Enceladus are more promising in terms of finding clues about extraterrestrial life. Cox points out that Titan seems to have a subsurface ocean, and Enceladus even shoots out liquid into space. We could fly through that and check for organics. So while the possibility of Pluto's hidden ocean is fascinating, it seems like our best chances of finding evidence of life lie closer to home among the moons of other planets. According to Cox, getting from single-celled organisms to complex multicellular creatures is like squeezing through a super-tight bottleneck. It's so tough that only a small fraction of planets where life exists will actually have anything beyond simple biology. Cox thinks that complex life is probably a rare occurrence in the universe, but he also points out something interesting about our discoveries so far. Everywhere we find liquid water on Earth, we also find life. And since our solar system is made up of similar stuff, it makes sense to think that life could exist in the liquid water on Pluto, too. However, Cox insists on tempering expectations. We're not talking about big, technologically advanced creatures here. If there is life on Pluto, it would likely be very basic and uncomplicated. Even though complex life is rare, any sign of alien life, no matter how simple, would be absolutely mind-blowing. At the end of the day, scientists believe that the probability of Pluto hosting life could be pretty high, as there is still much to learn about this dwarf planet. Pluto has a heart. The key to life on Pluto lies in its heart. NASA discovered that Pluto has a special feature they call a heart, and it's driving a lot of action on the planet. This heart is a gigantic nitrogen glacier that covers a staggering 1,000,000 square miles. But there is this one location within the heart known as Sputnik Planitia. It is the largest glacier in the solar system. Initially, astronomers believed that this distinctive feature formed as a result of a powerful collision with another large object in Pluto's past. However, the odd location of this basin raises questions. It is situated precisely on the opposite side of Pluto from its prominent moon, Charon. The chances of an impact occurring in such a specific location directly opposite Charon may be too slim to call it a mere coincidence. Instead, scientists proposed that the alignment between Charon and Sputnik Planitia could be the result of polar wander, basically, when a planet shifts its spin axis because of major geological processes. Sputnik Planitia ended up in its current position because it's like a trap for cold temperatures. Nitrogen ice has piled up there, forming a massive ice sheet that's at least 2.5 miles thick. This phenomenon can only occur if Pluto possesses an ocean beneath its icy surface. This basin made Pluto completely change its orientation so that it faces directly opposite its moon, Charon. The interesting thing is that the heavy weight of this ice, combined with the gravitational pulls from Charon, caused Pluto to tilt and align the basin more closely with the gravitational axis between Pluto and Charon. This shift probably caused the surface of Pluto to crack and created those enormous faults that zigzag across the planet. The basin originally formed to the northwest, closer to Pluto's north pole. And if more ice continues to accumulate in the basin, Pluto will keep changing its orientation. These discoveries shed light on the dynamic nature of even the most distant and mysterious objects in our solar system. But there is still a lot of mystery surrounding Sputnik Planitia. The mystery of Sputnik Planitia. In his BBC series The Planets, Brian Cox talked about a fascinating discovery scientists made about a specific area on Pluto. They noticed something really unusual there. Brian Cox referred to this area as Tombor Regio, but it's more commonly known as Pluto's heart. And right on the edge of this region, there's a range of mountains made entirely of frozen water ice that towers up to 6 kilometers above the surrounding plain. But what makes this area even more peculiar is that it stands out from the rest of the dwarf planet. Dr. Cox explained that the surface of Pluto is covered in craters from countless impacts that happened over billions of years. But something is different about Sputnik Planitia. It's incredibly smooth, without a single crater in sight. It's really intriguing how this part of Pluto breaks the pattern and sets itself apart from the rest of the world. If you zoom in on the surface of Sputnik Planitia, you'll be amazed by something completely unique in our solar system. There's a fascinating network of polygonal shapes etched into the icy surface, each one spanning at least 10 kilometers. They look a bit like cells seen through a microscope, but they are not. These shapes actually provide evidence of Pluto's internal heat desperately trying to escape from beneath the glacier. As a result, bubbles of upwelling and downwelling nitrogen ice form, creating a mesmerizing effect similar to a lava lamp. What's really intriguing is that these formations are unlike anything we've seen in Earth's glacier or anywhere else in the solar system we've explored from a distance. The absence of craters on Pluto is striking. But as we get closer, the mystery deepens. The detailed images captured by New Horizons show an intricate pattern of hexagons and pentagons crisscrossing the frozen nitrogen surface. It's a clue that nature might hold similar patterns elsewhere. Yet this peculiar phenomenon remains truly extraordinary. Dr. Cox explained that the peculiar patterns observed on Pluto's surface are indicative of convection, a process driven by a heat source. This heat source causes the material, in this case nitrogen ice, to rise, cool down, and then descend once again. As a result, the currents constantly rejuvenate the area, creating these distinct patterns. The fact that a small world like Pluto is still active came as a tremendous surprise. But where is this heat coming from? This phenomenon is explained by a theory that suggests there are radioactive elements deep within Pluto's interior. As these elements decay, they generate heat, which could be responsible for melting the nitrogen ice, causing it to rise and fall. This ongoing activity suggests that Pluto is far more dynamic than previously imagined. This discovery is another clue that there might be a concealed ocean of water below Pluto's surface. But can we be absolutely certain that Pluto possesses an ocean? Well, the gathered evidence suggests there could indeed be more to the story. New Horizons data revealed something intriguing about Sputnik Planitia, the presence of a heavier mass beneath it that likely played a role in its reorientation. Scientists suspect that this weightier mass could be a water ocean. Multiple lines of evidence support this notion, including the tectonic features observed in the images captured by New Horizons. These features indicate the presence of an ocean beneath Pluto's crust. Sputnik Planitia is believed to have formed around 4 billion years ago and was likely shaped by a colossal impact from a Kuiper belt object measuring 50 to 100 kilometers across. This impact created a massive cavity in Pluto's icy crust, stretching 1,000 kilometers wide and at least 7 kilometers deep. After the impact, nitrogen ice filled the basin, resulting in the reorientation and tipping of Pluto, positioning Sputnik Planitia on the planet's equator. The precise alignment between Pluto and its moon, Charon, enhances the likelihood of an ocean beneath the surface. If the dwarf planet lacked an ocean, it would have resulted in a more extreme tilt. Nevertheless, even if this hidden ocean exists, it would likely have a different chemical composition compared to Earth's oceans due to the cold and distant environment. Despite the discovery of mountains made of frozen water on Pluto, nitrogen ice is the primary material shaping Pluto's geography. The glacier is so colossal that it is believed to have tilted Pluto on its axis. All of these discoveries are fueling the belief that Pluto has a subsurface ocean, much like Jupiter's moon Europa. Scientists have been working on a model to determine whether this subsurface ocean could survive under the harsh conditions on Pluto. They've run the numbers and found that Pluto has the potential to host liquid water.